Dr. Joseph Martin. Beyond near-death experiences, or NDEs, knowledge of higher worlds and realms and dimensions. Now, there have been so many documentations of near-death experiences over the last 50 years in the Western world. Of course, it's a little unusual in the Eastern world with Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and other traditions where these kinds of higher consciousness experiences have been here for tens of thousands of years. But in any case, I'm speaking of something that is way beyond near-death experiences. Although I have had 3 long near-death experiences myself in this particular life, I live every day and every night in the superconsciousness of the highest possible realms of existence and beingness. And this is what I'm sharing with you and offering you to find the same for yourself within your own innermost journey, in your heart to the source of all that is, in the cosmos, and in yourself as a unique soul. Now, it's clear to say that we've always been interested in higher dimensions of consciousness and reality. It's not just about the afterlife, it's about being in a higher state of consciousness in the life that you're in now, in this moment, in fact. And while in popular culture we have with Star Trek and Star Wars and Stargate SG-1, we have notions of intelligent life and higher dimensions of reality, even immortality, in these wonderful popular TV shows and movies that we've had in the last 50 years of global culture here, since the late 20th century. There's much more to it than that, in fact. Astronomers since Tycho Brahe, and certainly in the last 60 years, have been looking for SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, it's been called, SETI. And that's been around for at least 40, 50 years. Astronomers these days are looking through the Hubble telescope for planets that have environments like our own, with water and earth and forests and so on, for intelligent human life on other solar system planets. Now, the truth is that there is intelligence in every living being. Every star, every sun, every planet is actually an intelligent being. And on those beings or planets, including inside stars and suns, there are great beings of spiritual, cosmic, and Christed intelligence. Whether or not our mindset is yet available to be opened out of our boxes to perceive this is the truth that spiritual science has shown us across cultures, ancient and modern, from the shamans all the way up to the present spiritual, mystical traditions of the world religions we have here now. And so, that being the case, let's look at it from many different scientific points of view. Knowledge of higher worlds and how you can find them and what they are, defining them. Now, in terms of physics, we know that there are the smallest particles, atoms, electrons, protons, quarks, quarks, and quasars, and many other things. But we're just going to be finding out within the next 100 years that adamantine particles are the smallest and most primary or primal particles of the cosmos and everything that's been created in terms of matter. And these are known to be, by spiritual scientists, as adamantine love particles. Their very essence and nature is love. And they can move between being a waveform, primarily a waveform, and when they turn into matter of any kind, they can have particles. Many people in quantum mechanics and advanced physics look for string theory results. There are many varying theories of string theory at this moment on the planet, but there are many more dimensions than the 11 dimensions that the string theorists are looking at. In fact, there are so many more dimensions, and mathematically it would be unwise and incomprehensible at this point in our early stage of the history of these matters, of these sciences to make a statement, but there are many more dimensions, and they're all enfolded within one another. This whole notion of enfoldment within space, or even within no space and no time, all this enfoldment is happening invisibly and energetically all the time for us at this moment. And this is how it is. So we have these memes, this consciousness, all of this is very positive and powerful, and this is how it is for us here on the planet. Now, we can look at this from many different perspectives. We can also look at it from the level of philosophy. Every science has its awareness of this. And I don't mean metaphysics of ontology, epistemology, these kinds of realities in philosophy. I mean something beyond metaphysics. It's spiritual philosophy, just as we will emerge to have a spiritual physics. Now, from the level of, let's say, the spiritual sciences, we are aware in mystical Christianity and Gnosticism, and also within the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the earliest and most ancient texts of the Hindu peoples, that there we have descriptions. Now, let's just take first the version by Jesus, the Christ, the first Christ. He says, "In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you." What Jesus is clearly making reference to here is the fact that there are higher dimensions of consciousness and reality, consciousness being reality, within the higher realms of the cosmos. We don't necessarily mean this in spatial terms. We mean this in terms of cosmic reality that's beyond time and space, beyond the fourth dimension, but showering through invisibly through all the dimensions down into the first dimension of the telluric metal mineral realm. And so in these realms, Jesus is making an alluding to the fact that there are these higher homes, and that's where he is suggesting that all of us find our way back home through some of the spiritual techniques that he taught. In the Bhagavad Gita, which is very much based on meditation and yogic union of the heart consciousness of the individual human being with all that is of the source of the cosmos, there are more allusions to the fact that the cosmic consciousness, which is the greatest consciousness, in spiritual physics we actually call this the dark energy, and the Christ consciousness, which comes out of the cosmic consciousness, which is all matter, any material form that has atoms, elements, and material reality. We call this the Christ consciousness. That's anything that has matter. And Jesus himself alludes to the fact that the cosmic consciousness is called the Father, which we might call Babaji Nagaraj, the creator of the universe. It's the dark energy. The Christ consciousness is the dark matter of anything in the entire cosmos that makes up the galaxies, the stars, the planets, and so on, including our human bodies. This is all dark matter made into light with higher consciousness. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita and other Hindu texts, and many people in the world now, all over the world, are aware of the chakra system. Now, typically in ancient times there were 7 chakras. However, I've been asked to bring to some awareness the fact there are at least 16 chakras, and many of them go above the top of the physical body's head. And this is how to connect to the higher consciousness realms through the Wu and the Wei, which we said these are now Chinese metaphysical terms that have to do with traditional Chinese medicine. And when you connect to the higher realms through the chakras above your head, all of this, by the way, this knowledge is available in a book that we published a few years back now called Traveling Light, my colleague and I, Miriam. We are aware of the fact that you can, through yoga, through chakra work, through deep meditation, you can connect to these higher realities, dimensions, realms. And they're in this psychological spiritual science. We now know that, again, based on the ancient Hindu and Vedantic texts, that there are four energy bodies. The highest and the highest frequency or vibratory power with the smallest wavelength is the etheric body, which is called the spiritual body. Now, this pertains to humans in particular, but the whole cosmos is one etheric body. So this is beyond the meager humans that we are, the delightful humans. The whole cosmos is the akasha, or the ether, and the whole cosmos as a body has an etheric body, which is the highest consciousness and the highest realm and dimension. Within that, within the source and the metagalactic central sun, you will find the highest frequency of cosmic consciousness and Christ consciousness, which could be called Buddha or Muhammad consciousness, or Nanak consciousness, by the way. Below that, in a lower frequency of vibratoriness, is the causal body, the mental body. And not only humans, but all beings and all entities, if you like, stellar beings have this as well. A lower frequency body below that is the astral body, or your emotional body. And of course, the whole cosmos is emotional, isn't it? And then one of the lowest frequency bodies is the physical body, the biochemical, physiological body. And this is the part that you're in, obviously, right now. It is your overcoat, as we say. And when you work with meditation and yoga and union with the divine inside, and moving your energy field up your chakras through Kundalini Kriya Yoga, or I Am Yoga, which we're presenting once again to the world at this time, you will find that you can increase your knowledge of higher worlds and find your place and your role as one diamond facet or jewel of the one source of greatest love of all that is. And so this is just simply an introduction to something much farther beyond near-death experiences, which is somebody's personalized story of one near-death experience. And they may not have been able to keep that great higher consciousness once they got out of the near-death experience. I'm presenting ancient time-told methods that are actually modernized now for the next 400 years that will allow you to find this 24/7, 364 and a quarter of your life, and to stay in this nirvikalpi samadhi, as we say, of the highest cosmic Christ consciousness at all times. Therein is the key. You will find your best and highest and greatest identity as a soul, as an immortal being, and you will find your reasons for why you are here, what you are to do, what's the next step on your path, and what you can serve and support and give to all of us here on the earth plane and to the cosmos itself. Well, these are just some of the ideas from all the sciences of what it means to go into the highest knowledge of consciousness. I would like to point out that Dr. Rudolf Steiner, the founder of anthroposophical tradition, who founded the Waldorf School and so on, he has a book, which I used to use as a teaching manual 30 years ago, Knowledge of Higher Worlds. And any of the hundreds and hundreds of texts of annotations and translations from his direct discourses and surveys that he gave in terms of, mostly in German, all in English now, his discourses show you and give you, when you focus on the right things, the centrality of the cosmic consciousness and the Christ consciousness to what it means to be a human being in any time or place on earth throughout all time and culture. There are many more things, obviously. This is a very interesting topic. It will become a burgeoning topic, so please do stay tuned. We have much more that we would like to share for you, for your betterment and for your own inner work and process with yourself. All love and blessings, Dr. Joseph Martin. May you find the highest consciousness and know the true knowledge of yourself as the one source. All my love.